Hey everybody, James here, and in this video I'm going to take you through how you can double your practice in the next 90 days without spending any money on marketing. So what you need to understand is that there are 4 things to running a 7-figure healthcare practice, a successful healthcare practice. And those 4 things is the attraction, the conversion, and the retention of ideal patients, and the systems around that allow you to expand your reach, serve more people, and have a greater impact. Now, there are 3 ways that you can grow any business: the number of new clients you have, the number of transactions per client, and the total transaction amount per transaction, right? So when you're thinking about your healthcare business, with that, what that comes down to is, are we bringing in enough clients? Are we converting those clients into our packages, into our programs, and into starting treatment with us? And then are we retaining those clients? And that 4th thing that I talked about, which is the systems, is how we're expanding beyond just one-to-one, where it's just us doing the work, slaving away as a practice owner-operator. So I'm going to be talking about things that don't include any marketing spend, okay? And so obviously attraction, I'm actually going to leave that out entirely. I'm not going to teach you about referral strategy. I'm not going to teach you about word of mouth because I think it's pointless and I don't think it's as cost effective in the grand scheme of things as actually doing paid advertising. So you can watch videos on my paid advertising strategies later, but today I'm really going to be going through those 3 core components, which is the conversion, the retention, and the systems. So if I said to you, let's say you had 10 new clients coming in every single week, let's say, okay, and you were only converting 50% of those people, you're only converting 5. If we were to increase your conversion ability, you're going to be having more of those people actually starting treatment, and your practice is going to increase in its capacity, right? If you converted 2 more of those people over time, your practice is going to build more than just converting the 5 out of the 10. But you also have to think about conversion in other aspects. Conversion is not just on new patient visits. It's also conversion into treatment plans. So all 10 might come in, they all might go through an initial consultation process with you, and then they get to that point of starting a treatment program, and maybe only half of them actually buy into the full program. Maybe half of them start doing pay per session instead and then drop out. Now I'm going to talk about retention in a bit, but I want you to realize that conversion is in all aspects of our practice. It's conversion on the phone. It's conversion when we're face to face. It's conversion getting a person to start a treatment program, continue a treatment program, and go into the next treatment program. I'm a massive advocate for making sure that we have clarity of message for our clients. And if we know what our client is going through, i.e. where they're at, and we know where they want to be, then we can position ourselves as the obvious expert to deliver value and take them from A to B, closing that gap. Now, I already know that by you watching this video, you have a healthcare practice and you're probably pretty good at what you do. Most of us are. But the main issue here is not our actual skill in producing the result. The issue is our ability to communicate that to the client to get them to take action so that they work with us, because that's the only way we're going to get them the results that they're looking for. Now, we're not really even in the business of healthcare when I talk about this. We're in the business of getting them to say yes. If I can't get a person to say yes, then there's no way that I can actually deliver a result for them. So goal 1, after actually attracting any clients, is making sure that we are converting those clients, and that's converting them into the initial consultation and converting them into a treatment program with us. Okay, those are the 2 things there. Now, with conversion, once we've got them to say yes, they're going to start with us. Ideally, we want them to have buy-in. If they are buying into the process, if they're committed to the process, then they're more likely to get a better result than if they are just paying per session and doing it the way that they want to do it. Because let's be honest, if they're in the situation that they're in, chances are they're not doing things as well as they could be. Now, I'm excluding injuries and things like that, right? Accidents, things happen, right? But if we are dealing with people with chronic health issues, people who are wanting to put on more strength and muscle at the gym, people who are wanting to get healthier, if they knew what they were doing, they'd probably be doing it themselves. And even if they knew how, chances are if they're working with us, they're wanting somebody who's got a proven plan, somebody who knows what they're doing, and somebody they can model so we can help them implement and get better results, which means they need us. So we need them to buy into what we're selling, if you will, so that they will start and actually commit and get a result. Because there's nothing worse than having a person in front of you who you know you can get results with, but they're just not complying to recommendations. So conversion is about making sure that those people comply with our recommendations. And I don't mean buying a 3, 6, 12-month treatment plan where they prepay necessarily. I'm saying getting them to buy into the long-term vision, focusing less on their symptoms initially and focusing more on their functional outcomes and their quality of life outcomes. Because they could just take drugs if they wanted their pain to go away. They could just get a massage on their shoulder and it'd feel nice for a day and then it would come back again if they really just wanted relief, right? A heat pack. But when we're looking at fixing the issues. And as I say that, right, I'm just talking about physical issues here, but it could be digestive, it could be anything. If we're focusing solely on the symptoms, then we're not expanding that vision for the person. They're not going to buy into the process. They're not going to follow through. And once they feel even 10, 20% better, they're going to think that it's working or it's done, and they're going to disappear. They're going to want to change their recommendations. So making sure that in our conversion process, we're looking at long-term quality of life for that person and getting them to buy into that concept is key, so that we can increase the next thing that I want to talk about, which is the second way that we can double our practice in 90 days, and that is retention. If I see a person 10 times in their lifetime, if I'm able to see them 20 times or even 15 times in their entire lifetime with me, suddenly my practice volume goes up 50 to 100%. So you can imagine that if I have 10 people coming through the door and I'm converting them 50% better than I was before, and I'm retaining them 50% longer, then you do the math, my practice starts to grow. And when you start to really work on these things, you're able to double your practice very quickly. And that's what I did to double my practice in 90 days. Well, actually, I tripled it. And I did that through making sure I had my attraction down, my conversion, and my retention. And excluding attraction, because we'll talk about that in another episode, is that conversion, that retention is what allowed me to double my practice. And then getting the triple was the attraction side. So retention, and I touched on this a little bit before. Retention is the ability to make sure that we have compliance with our recommendations. If a person is not being retained in our services either through the initial stage of treatment or into additional treatments or additional programs, then we are leaving money on the table. And this is not, about making heaps of cash and burning people. This is just literally looking at the facts of it. In a healthcare business, like any business, cash flow is king. And if we are not making any revenue, then we can't pay our staff, which means that they go hungry or we don't hire any at all. If we're not making revenue, then we can't keep a roof over our head. We can't keep marketing, which means that our message doesn't get out to our audience, which means we can't help them. And so in business, we want to make sure that we're profitable. From a healthcare perspective, we want to make sure that we care and are impacting lives. So if we can get a person to be retained in our process, they comply with recommendations, then not only do they get better results, they're a happier client, they're a raving fan, they're more likely to refer their friends and family because they actually got results because they bought in and they said yes and they continued. So we converted them and then we retained them. But our revenue is going to go up as well because we are keeping those people around. Now, retention is partly conversion and partly attraction. Retention is about converting them into the program and continuing to convert them every session we see them so that they maintain that momentum. But retention is also what else can we add on and provide value with. So in my practice, what we do is we have the initial stage of care, which is focused on decreasing tension and improving function and quality of life, but to a lesser degree. I want to get tension out of their body, making them feel good. Stage 2 is strongly focused on function. I want them to have more mobility, more range of motion, more stability. In a lot of cases, my clients have chronic pain, balance issues, things like that. And I'm also looking for them to be able to start doing more of the things they love. So going to the gym, exercising, tramping, playing sports again. So I'm selling them into the first program. We're going to reduce your symptoms, get you feeling well. Then we're going to bring you into the second stage, and I'm going to get you back to the gym, get you active again. And the third stage is maintenance, wellness, and quality of life. So beyond just I can get back to the gym, what else can we provide that client? Can I improve their energy levels? Maybe I can improve their recovery. Maybe I can improve their digestion. What else can I provide value to them and for them? And then how are we maintaining those results? Because naturally people regress over time because they're always going to get their best results when they're with us because we're whispering in their ear and we're telling them what to do and we're coaching and guiding them. But when they're out in the world, they have their friends and family saying, oh, don't worry about doing the exercises and don't worry about this and don't worry about that. And they go back to the same way that they were. Especially in my case, if they've got chronic issues, 3-6 months later, they're way better, but they had it for 20 years, so they got 20 years of bad habits. So how am I going to help maintain their function and quality of life? For me, I don't sell them into stuff. I'm not trapping them in there on a contract. What I'm doing is I'm helping them understand the value that I'm providing so that they can make an easy decision and say, this is right for me. And then they opt to do that. I see a lot of clients very regularly, and they have done so for years. They pay per session, they book in themselves. If they miss an appointment, they do a catch-up. If they go on holiday, they book for when they're coming back because it's part of their routine. It's like if you went to the gym and got super buff and then decided, cool, that's good. I've got muscle, I'm sweet, I'm just going to stay here. No one would do that because we know that we're going to regress. And it's the same thing with our health. Once we achieve something, as you know, watching this, right? As you achieve something in your healthcare treatment process, there is a regression back to the mean or slipping back in time depending on what's going on. And so our job as the health professional is to help that person understand the value of what we're doing. Now, if you don't have any of those packages, that's okay, but what I want you to do is think about what else can you offer your clients? Beyond your initial treatment phase, what else can you offer them? Can you expand your client's vision? Can you do anything more? What would you like to do? Because if you imagine that the person in front of you was a loved family member, would you make the recommendations that you make to your clients currently, would you make it for this person in front of you? Or would you make a bigger recommendation? Think about that, because chances are if it was your kid, if it was your wife, if it was your mother, you might make different recommendations for them that you maybe are to your clients. I want you to think about that, because in the retention process, if we are providing maximum value and great results, then we want to do it in a timely way. We also want to do it in a way that expands beyond their initial perception of what's possible. A lot of my clients come to me and they think, oh, I just want to get out of pain. And they don't realize that I can improve a lot of other aspects of their life. So I understand their situation, I communicate that with them, and I make them clear of the possibility of the journey, and they can opt to get off the bus, metaphorically, whenever they want, but I'm giving them those outcomes. I'm saying, we're going to improve your symptoms and get you feeling better. Now we're going to get you back to the gym and get you active, back playing sports, etc. And then we're going to look at maintaining that process. And so that's our retention journey. Once your patient visit average, if you will, starts to go up, you are retaining people longer. When you retain people longer from a business perspective, you're being paid more in the life cycle of that client, and therefore the lifetime value of that client goes up. And so a great way of measuring the health of a business, especially a healthcare business, is looking at your patient lifetime value average. Okay, so over 6 months to 12 months on average, how much does a person spend with you? The higher that number is, that means you're retaining them more. You're also converting more, but you're retaining them more especially. Okay, if you convert people more into programs, then your base jumps up. Okay, your minimum goes up, if you will, which changes the overall average. But with retention, we're looking at that top end. If we can get that top end to go even higher, it pulls the base average up, and so overall our average goes up, and it makes the biggest influence on our lifetime value. But the thing with lifetime value is if we can get a client to spend more with us because we're offering them additional value, then naturally our bottom line goes up and our practice volume goes up because we're seeing more people are retained, they spend more, we make more, we can invest more into marketing, and we continue to grow. And we can also do things like adding contractors, expanding our reach, creating online programs, because we have the revenue that will allow us to do that. So in summary, there are 4 things that you need to grow a successful practice, a 7-figure practice. And that is the attraction, the conversion, and the retention of ideal patients, and then the systems on how you can expand your reach. And in this video, we covered the retention and the conversion. And the last thing before I finish up I want to touch on is systems. If you don't have a systemized practice, then your ability to efficiently see clients starts to go down. If you don't have staff that are managing the administration, if you don't have marketing systems in place and requires you to spend a lot of time and effort to bring clients in, if you're not systemizing the way that you deliver your services, without a standardized assessment process, without a standardized form of treatment for particular things, then you're spending extra time doing stuff that you don't really need to deliver the result that your client's looking for. 9 times out of 10, we over-deliver, and it's not over-delivering in value, it's over-delivering in our time, which doesn't necessarily help that person get better outcomes. And in my practice, I want to be delivering excellent outcomes that are aligned with my clients' wants and needs, but also are done efficiently so that I can serve more people, because otherwise I'm limited in my capacity to reach my community and change lives across the board. I may only be able to see arbitrarily 10 people, whereas if I had systems, I might see 12, 15, 20. But beyond just systemizing the way we do it, there's also the systems in the practice that allow us to expand further. So online programs, hiring contractors to see people or bring in more people because maybe it's a complementary service. If you're a chiropractor, maybe you have an acupuncturist there or a massage therapist. What I'm saying with this is when we start to focus on being the business owner, we can expand what we're doing a lot further. And if you want to double your practice in 90 days, then you need to really master that retention, that conversion, and those systems, but more importantly, your attraction. And if you want to find out how you can do that, there's going to be a link around this video. And if you're listening to the podcast, there's going to be a link on the description there where you can actually check out a free training that I've developed that will teach you those secrets so you can build a hyper successful healthcare practice and have the lifestyle, the income, and the impact that you deserve. That URL is jamesnelsonwatt.com/free-training. jamesnelsonwatt.com www.coachingforbeginners.com/free-training. Check it out. I'll see you there. And if you've got any questions, just post a comment, send us a message. I'd be happy to help. See you guys next time.